All right, Schlockmeisters fans, we got ourselves a horror thriller from the 80s, Martin Sheen's The Believers. Let's check it out. All right, our movie starts out with Martin Sheen. He plays Cal Jameson, his son.
Who's there? Dwayne. Dwayne who? Dwayne the bathtub. I'm drowning. That's terrible.
A few minutes later, tragedy strikes. That's his wife, Lisa, I believe is her name. And she's frying.
Oh my God, no, Chris, don't touch it! Don't touch it! Oh, Jesus Christ!
So there's some sort of ritual, voodoo or something going on here that's not good, where kids are being sacrificed. Fast forward a few months, 9 months to New York City. Martin Sheen is a psychiatrist, single dad now. They moved to New York City. He's a psychiatrist for the police department, actually, and there's a bunch of ritual killings going on. In this case, it's a cat. Cal's attorney.
But that coffee machine was fucking defective, and we gotta nail the bastards so no one else gets
As
killed.
long as Chris doesn't have to testify, I'm either way. I feel very strongly.
You and me both.
No need to look in there.
At the airport, TSA, this creepy guy is convincing the TSA guy not to question his belongings. Back at Cal's household, they have a Hispanic maid who is superstitious. Meanwhile, there's another ritual killing that took place, another dead kid.
Can you tell how old he is? He looks to be about 9 years old. He's only a kid. There's so much blood. Look at those ashes. They go completely around with the body.
Jesus Christ, did you see what they did to the kid?
Jimmy Smits is Tom.
That's all. What do you know about it?
They took my bag!
Who took your badge? Who took it? Who took it, Tom? Come on.
Tom is going crazy. And there's our Hispanic maid and that creepy guy again. Tom is a cop, so Cal interviews him,
The spirits help them.
being a shrink.
They walk the walls. Don't forget that.
I won't. And they can see us in here right now, is that it?
When I came to, I found the body. They got my shield! Don't you get it?
Yes.
Oh, they're gonna kill me.
In Christianity.
So he starts to study up on this voodoo religion,
Brought by slaves to the correct.
Santa Ria or something like that. Tom facilitates his escape.
You must have
Helen Shaver plays Jessica. She lives in the same apartment complex.
outside.
And I think
Still can't find it.
Cal likes her. Yeah, he got laid.
How long's it been?
About 9 months.
Another day, another ritual killing, another body.
Carmen! Carmen! What is all this stuff? What are these things? You did put them in Chris's room, didn't you?
See,
I want to know why.
to bless him, I'm trying to help him.
I'm trying to help him too. I'm sorry.
So Chris is having some issues that Dad is dating again.
This is no.
Chris! Chris!
Meanwhile, Tom stabs himself with a knife. At a dance school, apparently they're teaching the Charlie Brown dance.
You said in your book that human sacrifice was practiced at one time.
Name me one religion where atrocities have not been committed in the name of a god.
Santeria is a force for good.
How about it?
Not much.
This is
So
Donald.
we-
I think he's going to be the bad guy of our film.
Building and turning into a fortune.
Getting into everything these days, money markets, energy, the whole bit.
Todo lo que brilla no es oro. The person I spoke to, you asked her that they had a mistake.
Jessica's eavesdropping on Donald.
I tell you, if all the good work we've done is destroyed by this, Oscar, it's not gonna happen. You have my word on that.
And she finds a skull in a fish tank. And someone goes into her compact and rubs a little DNA out of it. And a little later, there's this dance going on, and I don't know exactly what's happening here.
Don't touch him. He's not one of us. Go.
When they go home, turns out the maid has been putting all kinds of spells and
This department, now you're fired. Get out.
But John, you don't understand.
You don't understand. You're fired. Go.
He's in danger. I'm trying to protect
I
him.
tell you to get this Jericho for Christ's sake.
Listen, we're dropping this investigation now. We're laying the murders off on Lopez.
Lopez didn't kill anybody but himself, and you know it. Where's this coming from?
Lopez is dead. We got him tied to the kids. He took his life out of his own guilt. We're gonna have to close now.
My son. Is it Santeria?
No, this is not Santeria. It is black magic, brujeria. This symbol belongs to a god of destruction and pestilence. El engañador, the trickster.
But
I believe she tried to cast a spell of protection. She was not strong enough. It was turned against her.
Protection from what?
Look, you both felt the power of the man who killed Tom Lopez and those two children. And
so Cal agrees to a purification ritual to try to help his son Chris. Jessica may have been infected with something. Remember that compact? There's a mole on her face now.
We see you out here this
Remember
evening?
Chris's uncle and aunt where he's hanging
That's
out?
wonderful. We have the whole weekend planned.
They have a visitor.
All right.
I
See you
think they're
later,
in on
kid.
it.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Okay, I will.
Remember that mole?
You take care.
It's growing. Detective McTaggart ain't doing too well.
it wasn't an overdose. He killed his own fucking son.
Where did you get this?
Buried files.
And then as soon as Cal leaves,
I sin no more.
takes his own life. Now that mole is breathing. And now it's giving birth to bugs.
Cal, I'm bringing Chris. We'll explain all when I see you. Meet me, Flanders Inn.
I think Kate's had a change of heart, but it might be too late.
The elders of the tribe came to see us. We developed a trust with them by then.
He went to see Chris's aunt and uncle to pick up Chris, and
Suggested seemed unthinkable.
he's been drugged.
Against nature. But you see, Cal, single-mindedness. One life from each of us, Cal, is all he asks. And he rewards our devotion 1,000-fold. Personal desires, oh yes, of course, anything. That's part of it. So,
In spite of being drugged and all the bad guys there, he manages to run away. Doesn't seem very plausible, but... Well, there's Auntie Kate.
We call upon the ancient gods to renew our strength and guide your hand to strike down the enemies of our faith and of this great nation.
It's ritual time. Chris is laid out in a loincloth, and he's supposed to stab him now. But nope. Cal's attorney shows up and starts shooting the bad guys until he gets shot with a dart himself. Driven by the lawyer. Donald's got a hold of Chris now and got to rescue his son by stabbing him. But the burned guy
I'm over here.
is not dead yet.
come to me.
No.
I can't see.
You come to me.
Fast forward about 6 months. The three of them are living in a farmhouse somewhere, and she's pregnant.
Be careful with that, Chris.
Bye, Mom.
Cal suspects something's up, goes into the barn, and uh-oh.
I did it. For us.
That's our film.
We'll be safe now.
All right, another review from the car. It's been a while since out here, but let's talk about The Believers, 1987 movie. I saw this movie probably in 1988. Came back on cable. Maybe I rented it and copied it. I'm not sure, but I had the movie. I taped it at that time. I think I watched it a couple of times, like on cable and stuff. And honestly, I didn't remember a damn thing about this movie. I retaped it in the 90s, I believe, and I saw it then. So it's probably been 30 years since I've seen this movie. I thought there was some sort of voodoo type stuff going on, and it kind of was. Santeria is what they call it. But anyway, what we have here is like a cult that's going on, and they kill young children. I think it was all boys, actually. Not exactly sure what their purpose of killing these children are, but that's what they do. And they end up targeting Martin Sheen's son, Chris. Martin Sheen plays Cal. At the beginning of the movie, we see Cal and his family. His wife gets electrocuted in the kitchen. That was, I guess, done just to get her out of the picture. And then we fast forward 6 months later, and Chris, the son, and his dad are living in New York City. He's a psychiatrist. He's actually been hired by the New York City Police Department to help out cops who are having, issues, that sort of thing. So, but anyway, there's also this cult in town that's killing kids, and the police are investigating, obviously, so he's kind of close to it. Somehow, his son Chris gets targeted by this group. So then, the rest of the movie is them pursuing Chris, eventually capturing Chris. And then Cal has to save his son from being killed. Along the way, he meets Helen Shaver, who plays Jessica, I believe was her name. Lives in like the same apartment building. They become a couple. And near the end of this movie, Chris is about to be sacrificed, and Cal learns about this cult. They want Cal to join this cult. Apparently, that's almost like an initiation. You have to kill your child to become. So they drug him, give him a knife, but instead of killing Chris, he ends up killing the other guy, which was his, I don't know, it was his brother-in-law, I think it was, who was part of this group. He's the one who told the story about years earlier. He'd killed his own son when they were on some sort of safari in Africa or something like that. But anyway, so then he chases down the bad guy who had grabbed Chris at this point, rescues Chris again. Then there's this one creepy-looking guy who's like from the Caribbean, it looks like, and he'd been burned. He can't see, and Chris ends up luring him off a ledge, and he dies. Fast forward 6 months later or so, Jessica and Cal and Chris are living as a family on a farm somewhere, probably upstate New York. Cal goes to the barn, sees a whole big shrine set up, and Jessica walks in and says, who's pregnant, by the way, at this point, and says, I did that for us. We'll be safe now. And then the movie fades to black. That's it. So Jessica has been warped into this cult, I guess. Santeria. I forgot the name of it. Santeria. Not Sangria. Santeria. Anyway, that's The Believers. So anyway, I hadn't seen this movie, like I said, in 30 plus years. It was decent. A little long in the tooth, an hour and 54 minutes. Probably could have chopped off good 20, 25 minutes of this and been even better. But it was okay. It's got a couple of nude scenes thrown in, a little bit of blood, that sort of thing, and a little bit of creepy factors. So that's cool. I'm going to point out a nude scene here, and I feel like a pervert for doing this, but Helen Shaver is in this movie, and she has a couple of nude scenes. I actually found her, she has an interesting look to her. I found her oddly attractive in this movie, but I like some of the outfits she was wearing. But one time, she was completely naked, which I couldn't show you this scene, but if you've ever visited the website Mr. Skin, I think it's kind of locked down. You got to be a subscriber to it. But Mr. Skin sometimes appears on Howard Stern, and he always gives out his annual awards to best nude scenes in movies and stuff. And one of the categories he sometimes has is called Muff Burger. And that's when you see a woman from behind, and her legs are spread a little bit so you can kind of see the hair, the Muff Burger is what he calls it. Helen Shaver has an incredible muff burger scene in this movie. Just go online and search Helen Shaver nude. You'll see it, but My goodness. But anyway, again, enough with the perversions, right? So anyway, a little bit of nudity, a little bit of blood. Not a bad film. The Believers. I will leave a link to something down below if you're looking for it. And leave some comments. The Believers. Watch it. Bye.